Okay, well, thanks. The big picture, and this is a good analogy. Freud is to psychology as Ptolemy is to astronomy. Ptolemy was the astronomer of the ancient world. His model was the Earth is at the center of the universe and the rest of the planets circle around that. What we've learned is that Ptolemy was wrong in terms of his conception, but as a guide to navigation, he's absolutely right. If you want to sail a ship from Hong Kong to Buenos Aires, you have to use Ptolemaic astronomy. You have to. So Ptolemy may be wrong scientifically, but as a practical guide to navigation, he's absolutely essential. Freud might be wrong intellectually, but as a practical guide to everyday affairs, he has a lot to say that I think is really important. And with the demise of personality psychology in the United States, those lessons are being lost. Freud was a fan of evolutionary theory. He was probably the first evolutionary psychologist. Freud took development seriously. Things that happen to you early are consequential in your later life. And then third, Freud took the unconscious seriously, as in that there are things that drive our behavior that are outside of our consciousness or awareness or that we'd prefer not to think about and that don't take us down very healthy paths. Freud also thought that trying to help other people required understanding personality dynamics, doesn't it, as opposed to understanding their behavior. And understanding people's personality dynamics requires getting past the political correctness. I agree with Freud that we mostly prefer to ignore the realities and the truths about human nature. So, for example, slavery, genocide, ethnic cleansing, and our ancient human traditions. We've been doing that since we started the business. So for Freud, social behavior is a text that needs to be interpreted. You can't take people's behavior or what they say at face value. There's what people say or what they do, and then there's why they say it or why they do it. And Freud's always interested in the why question, what's really going on underneath. And for Freud, I call it the Freudian meat grinder. A, everything gets translated back to sex and aggression. Everything you do, say, gets translated back to sex and aggression. And B, mostly what you do is fairly self-defeating. So a guy who's routinely late for a meeting, or late for any meeting, is sending a signal that he's busy. He thinks that's the signal he's sending. Well, the real signal he's sending is he's disorganized and he doesn't respect your time. For Freud, everyone's neurotic. And the major problem in life is to overcome your neurosis. That's what life is all about. And the goal of assessment then, psychological assessment, which is what we do, is to identify the sources of your neurosis. The goal of psychoanalysis is not to make you happy. The goal of psychoanalysis is to persuade you to exchange your neurotic unhappiness for the common misery of mankind. At time one, you're unhappy because of neurotic reasons. At time two, you're unhappy because you understand that life's a bitch. Okay? Now, this is me. Everyone's not neurotic, but Freud was neurotic. The problem with Freud is all his data comes from basically introspection and talking to himself and his own neurotic patients. And that's a limited supply of data. As I said at time one, you got to get outside your own biography and try to think about people from an objective, external, kind of more universal perspective. So for me, that's anthropology, sociology, evolutionary theory, primate field research, and so forth. So he says the most important generalization is everyone's neurotic. I would say no. The most important generalization you can make about people is two generalizations. The first generalization is people always live in groups. And second, all groups have status hierarchies. So I say the two big problems in life are getting along because you're going to have to, and then getting ahead because you need to. So personality concerns individual differences in the ability to get along and get ahead. That's what it's all about. You know, what are we trying to do? Get along, get ahead. Personality is about how well you're doing at that process. But if Freud's model is narcissistic, the problem with being neurotic is I don't feel good. I'm saying the problem with being neurotic is you drive everyone else crazy. Do you see the difference? It doesn't matter how you feel. What does matter is how you make other people feel. For Freud, maturity depends on self-awareness, which concerns discovering your unconscious sexual and aggressive impulses and then acknowledging them. And self-awareness for Freud comes from introspection. So the question to ask is, what's the advantage of introspection? Well, the answer is not much. There are very successful world historical figures, and I'm thinking immediately of Ronald Reagan and Margaret Thatcher, people who are really successful and utterly incapable of introspection. And conversely, neurotics are not very successful. I mean, people who obsessively introspect typically don't do very well. So introspection is not only not a valid source of knowledge, it doesn't even get you very far in the world. For Freud, everything important in your life starts on the inside. You have to learn to live with yourself before you can live with other people. Okay? I would argue everything important in life starts on the outside during social interaction, and you have to learn to live with other people before you can live with yourself. So I think self-awareness is not about introspection. Self-awareness is about discovering how other people see you. And you can't get there by asking yourself. You can only get there by asking them, right? So how other people see you and why they see you that way. So self-awareness involves paying attention to your reputation, and most successful people take good care of their reputations. For Freud, all human motivation and all relationships are ambivalent. I think that insight is correct. To get along, you have to give up getting ahead. So social interaction is in fact a minefield because other people are watching you and some of them are looking to criticize you. No matter what you do, they're looking to criticize you. In every social group, free riders always emerge. And free riders are individuals who take advantage of the benefits of group living while contributing nothing back to the group. And the number of free riders in a group will inexorably grow, will grow and grow and grow until it kills the group. There's almost no consensus among academics regarding the characteristics of effective leadership. As of like today, go look in the journals and you'll see nobody agrees what good ones are. So what about bad ones? I mean, if there are no consensus about good ones, what about the bad ones? Well, first of all, how many bad ones are there? And we were the people who put this discussion on the table. 75% of the American workforce say they would take a pay cut if someone would fire their boss. I mean, that's a real number. 75% of the American population say the worst aspect of their life, the most stressful aspect of their life, is their immediate boss. Yes. The principal cause of disease is stress. So bad management in corporate America is a public health hazard. I'm actually serious about that. So, okay, so what's the manipulative strategy? Excitable. Do what I want or I'll throw a fit, right? Skeptical. Don't defy me or I'll retaliate. You know, I'll sue you, I'll poison your dog, I'll kill your family. Reserved. Do what I want or I'll never speak to you again, right? Cautious. Do what I want or bad things will happen to you. Leisurely, do what I want or you'll be sorry. Bold, I demand you do what I want. Then do it now, because I am who I am. And you need. Mischievous, if you do what I want, I'll love you. Colorful, do what I want and I'll entertain you further. I'll put on even better. Imaginative, do what I want and you'll be amazed at the results. Diligent, do what I want because there are rules, and the rules say that disobedience will be severely punished. And dutiful, do what I want because I'm in charge. And damn it, you know, it's the military. But in the long term, these behaviors erode relationships and ultimately bring, and since your career is a sum of all those relationships, ultimately they're career killers. They're usually unconscious, that is, people are unaware that they're doing these things because it feels so good. And external feedback is what's needed to make them, you know, aware. But becoming aware of these tendencies doesn't mean they'll stop behaving badly. It just means they'll be aware of them. Maybe they'll even take more pleasure in them. So too much dark side will get you fired. Too little dark side will get you ignored, says Rodney, and he's right. So some dark side is essential for success. So excitable gives you a sense of urgency. Cautious people don't make dumb decisions. They don't. Skeptical people actually know who's after them. It's political savvy. Reserved people can really take the heat. They just don't care what you say. I mean, you can take it, and there's times when you need to be able to take the heat. Bold, they'll take on crazy, reckless projects, and you know, and that you see. Mischievous people are risk takers. They'll take apart live bombs. You need bomb disposal technicians and people to test aircraft. Colorful people, that's all about sales, right? Imaginative people have vision. And creativity. Diligent people have a fabulous work ethic. They really do. And dutiful people have the capacity to keep seniors happy. And you know, that's almost always good for your career, to keep the boss happy. So final thoughts. Personality is real. It's consequential. Marx and the social psychologists were wrong. What am I saying there? Karl Marx has argued against the cult of personality. He was the guy who said, you know, what matters in life are basically economic and historical forces, and that personalities are irrelevant. I'm the guy who's trying to restore the cult of personality. So Marx was wrong, I'm right. And the social psychologists argue that everything of importance in life is a function of situations. Why do you do what you do? It depends on the situation you're in. Well, they're wrong. I mean, personality is real and consequential. Marx, economic and historical determinists are wrong. Social psychologists are wrong. Personality assessment predicts important outcomes. The dark side will always be masked by a strong bright side in successful people, and so you need measures of bright side and dark side if you understand what's going on. If you want to help someone, there's no news in good news. Positive psychology is just wrong. To behave well requires continuous effort and self-presentation. You have to keep yourself under control to behave well. It's not effortless to behave well. It's an effortful activity to behave well. To behave well means not relaxing and just being yourself. As soon as you relax and you just be yourself, you're going to get in trouble. I agree with Freud. The real you is something to be ashamed of. And I think that's it. Yeah.